Hello, I'm Sean Hancock, the co-author of Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse While Dating a Vampire. In this video, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on writing techniques that I've picked up over the years. So I hope that it encourages you, inspires you to write, and finish what you've started. What I'm going to dive into is how to slay writer's block, craft good story, and understand the hero's journey, a classic format used in movies such as The Wizard of Oz and Star Wars. First, I want to start with slaying writer's block. Writer's block often happens when you have a convergence of ideas that can be conflictive, or you end up getting in your head to write something brilliant, but none of your ideas seem worthy. Well, don't worry about being a perfectionist. Stop trying to be perfect. That can lead to fear of writing anything at all. So don't judge your ideas before they even get out on the page. That is, if there are any ideas at all. So, kill the fear by telling perfectionism to take a hike and start being excellent by not judging what you're creating. Just create. You have the luxury of editing later. Sometimes writers and artists feel like, oh, I have to be in the mood to write, and the timing is off. Nope, that's not true. You don't have to be in the writing mood. You just need to make time. Your work is important. So you make time to create, whether you're writing or you're doing art or you're cooking or you're taking care of your kids. That's all important. And you don't need to be in the mood to take care of your kids and cook. You make time because it's important, because people's lives are on the line. So I think all of us are thankful that J.K. Rowling took time to write her pages, right? Eliminate distractions. Find that coffee shop with that writing environment, or a place in your home that you won't be pulled away from the keyboard. Also, I often enjoy writing to music. I find that music can just kind of help you get in the flow and get out of your head. Find music that's not distracting to you. I know Stephen King might write to AC/DC or Megadeth or something. You don't have to. In fact, I pick music that doesn't have lyrics. It just helps me focus. I use Spotify and I create free playlists and I listen and write to get inspired. So spend a little time meditating, clearing your mind, prepping, praying, going for a walk or for a jog, whatever you need to do to focus, and do it. I know that the author Donald Miller would read a little bit of Catcher in the Rye before writing. Find what works for you, make it fun, and write. Many successful writers have routines. I myself meet with another group of writers throughout the week, and we write in the same space together. Not talking, just sitting at a table with our laptops and writing. The greatest thing that I would recommend to help you get out of writer's block is a free write. It's simply an exercise that gets you putting something down on paper. It doesn't matter what it is. It's okay if it seems like junk. The free write may never see the light of day. No one else might ever see it, and that's okay. Because the purpose of the free write is just to get the creative juices flowing. In the book, The Artist's Way, author Julia Cameron calls these morning pages, where you write 750 words. Again, there isn't anything you need to share with others. It's just writing in a stream of consciousness. I like to set a timer, either for 25 minutes or a half hour. I set rules for my writing time. Rule number 1, there is no editing. You write without deleting. Even if you mess up on a sentence, you keep going. You can come back and clean up your work after the timer goes off. So sit down, set the timer, and once your finger hits the keys or once your pen hits the paper, keep going. It's astounding, some of the writing material I've seen come out of these morning pages or these free writes with students and new writers. It's amazing. Rule number 2, don't judge what you write, just write. The byproduct is some sort of work. Is it Da Vinci? Maybe not, but old Leo Da Vinci did a lot of sketches before crafting a masterpiece. It's like a sketch that could help you in sculpting a real work of art. If you need more inspiration for your ideas, I highly recommend Story Cubes. A lot of our book, Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse While Dating a Vampire, was written in our favorite downtown coffee shop. I would get a coffee, set up my laptop, and grab the Story Cubes.
I had a rough outline of a beginning, a middle, and an end to our story, but if I didn't know how to continue the story or what scene to write next, I'd use these story cubes to give me inspiration. You don't have to write exactly what is rolled. You can just use it as a starting point or a jumping off point. For example, this is a person falling from the sky, but this could be a fall from grace or falling out of a relationship, falling out of love. Or you can turn it around and it could be defying gravity. So use it to help spark ideas and run with them. You're only limited to your own imagination. They're called Rory Story Cubes, and you can find them in practically any game store or online. There's a few versions you can get as well, like voyages and actions for even more ideas. They are even a fun way to get your friends or family telling stories that they've never told before. So I highly recommend them.
Now I'm going to talk to you about crafting good story. Who, what, why, where. This is all called your platform. I also like to ask the question, why? In general, why on earth am I sharing this story? What does this story do? In Harry Potter, the why might be, I want to show that good conquers evil because we need more good in this world. Or, I want to share how good friends are important because we are stronger together than apart. Ask yourself, why are you writing this? It could be simply because everyone loves a good adventure, but you do need to know why. I'm not saying that every story needs a moral, but I am saying that having a theme can help you from being blown around by the wind of your thoughts. So for more on theme, I've attached a link so you can check that out. Whatever your general why is, break it down. What your character needs is a good indicator of what your theme might be. The who is your main character, the one who we are following on this story and the changes they go through and the conflict that happens. You need to know them. Perhaps they are based off of someone you know. It helps if you can visualize them and know them well enough that you know what they would do in situations. When an old lady is crossing the street, when someone is in a burning building, when there is that special someone at that coffee shop sending eyes towards them. If they don't act now, they might lose them forever. If you know your characters, you'll know how they respond. And that is huge. If you don't know that person, well then, take some time, do some backstory, and develop them. What? What is this story all about? Why is it worth telling? What are people getting out of this moment right now? These are good questions to ask for each scene that you write. Examples. A tornado hits and sends Dorothy to a faraway land. Luke's foster parents are murdered and he has to go away with Ben Kenobi, who teaches him the way of the Force. Harry goes to Hogwarts, School of Wizards, where he discovers that this prophecy might actually be about him. Or this is when the Goblet of Fire turns out to be a portkey where Harry faces the villain for the first time and what he must do to escape. When it comes to answering the what is this all about, ask yourself, why am I writing this scene right now? Why is it important? When you're watching a movie and you tell your friend, oh, you gotta see this part. Why? Why is that exciting? That is what is going to happen right now. Why is this happening right now? I'm a big fan of heightening the stakes, making things more exciting, more dangerous, more daring. How do you heighten the stakes? Ask yourself, what has your character got to lose? If John needs to arrive at a certain location at a certain time, the stakes are higher if he needs to meet the girl he loves at that time, or she could be killed, versus being late for a movie. The only way that that movie scene is higher stakes is if it propels the story forward. As in, going to the movies is when the girl realizes that she is indeed in love with John. She's about to finally tell him her thoughts toward him, and that's when a stranger comes in with a knife. Then we have to deal with what happens next. Where? Where does it take place? Not just America, but think specifically, like lock and key, brick and mortar, even beyond, oh, it's at a high school. Like, is this a high school in Montana where the biology school has blacktops and Bunsen burners and it smells like formaldehyde? Oh, if you can create the space that we're going into, and we are able to really imagine it and smell it and feel and even see the rain that's falling outside the windows, it allows a level of believability that we just fall right into where this character is moving and going and connecting with the location that they're going through. When, what time frame, era, genre, etc. Also, you need to know what tense you're writing in. First person, narrative, third person, omniscient, etc. Google writing tenses if you don't know what I'm talking about. There is a lot to crafting a good story, but I believe that starting with the who, what, where, when, and asking that question, why am I telling this story, is a great place to start. You don't need to know all of those answers in order to write, but I would recommend starting with one. Let that be your launching point. Then uncover what else is in your story. As you uncover the bones, they lay buried in the dirt. You're not inventing, you're discovering, unearthing, like chipping away at the marble that the statue is already there inside. You're just uncovering it. Understanding the hero's journey. There is a lot on the hero's journey or the monomyth. So if you want to get really in depth, I would check out Joseph Campbell's A Hero with a Thousand Faces. George Lucas credits this book for aiding him in the finishing of Star Wars. There is a lot here. And there's also a lot of awesome movies that have used the hero's journey, including Star Wars, The Matrix, Lawrence of Arabia, Thor, Conan the Barbarian, Princess Bride, Wizard of Oz, Dances with Wolves, The Lion King, E.T., Jaws, Goonies, and a ton more. Obviously, the formula works. It's pretty great for Hollywood, so it's good to at least have an understanding of the hero's journey. What I love about the hero's journey is how the character, your main character, is made relatable. And they have to go through these obstacles, and we discover really what they're made of while they go through the obstacles and the decisions that they have to make to overcome them, and what it does to them, how it changes them. Oftentimes when it changes the main character, if it's relatable, it often affects me some way as the reader. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the hero's journey. For more tips and tricks, I also recommend Pixar's 22 Rules of Storytelling. I've included the link below. They are really, really great, and Pixar produces amazing stories that are just out of the park every time. So I want to thank you for watching, and I really hope that this video has helped you and gives you some tools and some tips that you can apply to your next work of art. Thanks for watching.